Ever listened to Mandarin and just thought, wow, how could I ever make those sounds? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're cracking that very code. We're going to demystify Chinese pronunciation with a system that's actually super logical. It's called Pinyin. Let's jump right in. So, let's be honest. When you first hear Mandarin, it can sound incredibly complex, right? All those ups and downs and different pitches, it feels a little overwhelming. But I promise you, there's a really elegant, simple logic hiding in plain sight, and by the end of this, you're going to see it too. And here is the big secret, right up front. You don't need to memorize thousands of unique sounds. Nope. Every single syllable in the entire language is built from just 3 simple parts. Once you know those 3 building blocks, you basically know the whole system. So let's start right there with the anatomy of a syllable. Think of these as the Lego bricks for every single word you're ever going to say in Mandarin.
Here they are. Every pinyin syllable has an initial. That's just the consonant sound you start with. Then it has a final. That's the vowel sound that comes after. And finally, the tone. And that's the musical pitch you put on top of it all. Initial, final, tone. That's the formula. Every time.
You know what? Let's just build one right now, from scratch. We'll start with part 1, the initial. Let's use the consonant sound nen. You know, just like in the English word no. Easy enough, right? Okay, next up we add part 2, the final. In this case, we're going to use the vowel I, which makes an E sound, kind of like in the word see. So now we have N plus E, which makes the sound ni. And now for the magic ingredient, part 3, the tone. See that little checkmark symbol? That tells us to use a very specific pitch, one that falls and then rises. Kind of imagine your voice dipping down and then scooping right back up. Ni. And there it is. You put the initial N, the final I, and that falling rising tone all together, and what do you get? You get a real, complete, meaningful word, ni. And just like that, you've learned to say you in Mandarin. See, it's not random sounds, it's a system. Okay, so now that we've seen how the pieces fit together, let's zoom in on that really crucial third part, the tones. This is where you get all that beautiful music of the Mandarin language. So there are 4 main tones. The first tone is high and totally flat, kind of like you're singing a high note. Ah. The second tone rises up like you're asking a question. Ah. The third tone is the one we just saw. It dips down and then comes back up. Ah. And the fourth tone is a sharp, quick drop, like you're chopping something. Ah. And if you're wondering, do these tones really matter? Oh yeah, they matter a lot. Take the syllable ma. If you say it with that high, flat first tone, ma, it means mother. But if you only change the tone to the third dipping and rising one, ma, it means horse. So yeah, you don't want to get those mixed up. The tones are not optional. They are everything. Okay, there is actually one more, a 5th one. But don't worry, it's the easy one. It's called the neutral tone. And you can spot it because it has no mark on it at all. You just say it super light and quick, almost like an afterthought that's tacked onto the syllable before it. These are perfect examples. Look at the second syllable in each word. See? No mark. So you wouldn't say baba, you'd say baba. The emphasis is on the first one. Same with mother. Not mama, but mama. Try saying it. Baba, mama. See how that second syllable is just light and quick? So now we have our building blocks, initials, finals, and tones. Let's take a look at the complete toolkit, the full alphabet of sounds that you're going to be working with. And here's the good news. This is it. These are all the initial consonant sounds that exist in Mandarin, just 21 of them. Now, a lot of them sound like they do in English, but a few, like Q, X, and G, they have their own unique flair. But the most important thing is, this is the whole list. It's a finite, totally learnable set. And it's the same story for the finals, the vowel sounds. They come in a few different flavors. You've got your simple ones, some compound ones where vowels kind of glide into each other like I or ow, and some nasal ones that end with an N or ing sound. But again, it's a closed system. Once you learn them, you've learned them. All right, let's try putting it all together again. Look at these. Each syllable has its initial, its final, and its tone. So we have bai mao, that's a rising tone, then a high-level tone. And hey go, a high-level tone, followed by that dipping and rising tone. This is literally how you start building phrases from scratch. Okay, now to sound really natural, There are a few rules of the game, but don't think of these as complicated grammar. Think of them more like insider tips that just help the language flow and sound a lot smoother. Now, this is probably the most important rule for sounding natural. When you have two third tones right next to each other, like in the famous phrase, ni hao, trying to do two of those big dips in a row is just clunky and slow. So the language naturally fixes it for you. The first third tone automatically changes into a rising second tone. So even though it's written with two third tones, it's always pronounced as ni hao. This is a huge key to sounding fluent. The word for one, which is e, is also a bit of a chameleon. Its tone changes to help the words around it flow better. You can see on the table, its tone shifts depending on the tone of the very next word. Now, you don't have to memorize this table right this second. Just know that these little shifts happen to make everything sound more melodic. The word for not, bu, follows a similar but even simpler rule. It's normally that sharp, falling fourth tone. But if it comes right before another fourth tone, it changes to a rising second tone, just to break up the choppiness. So you'd say bu yao. Any other time, it just stays as bu. Simple as that. And finally, just a few quick spelling rules to be aware of. When the vowels I or U are a syllable all by themselves, we add a Y or a W in front when we write them down. And that special vowel U, the one with the two dots, it actually loses its dots when it follows the letters J, Q, X, or Y. The sound is still U, but the spelling changes. These are just conventions to make Pinyin easier to read and type. So, let's wrap this all up. Here's your Pinyin codebook. Number 1, every single syllable is just an initial plus a final plus a tone. Number 2, tones are not just for decoration. They are absolutely essential for meaning. And number 3, the few rules we talked about, they're just there to make the language sound more fluid and natural. It's a logical, totally manageable system. So there you have it. The code has been cracked. The system is laid out right in front of you, and the building blocks are in your hands. So I guess the only question left is, now that you know how it all